Hey there, White Sox fans. I was going to start out with hey, are you bored yet? The White Sox haven't done anything other than the Kendall Graveman signing last week. But as I was going live, news broke that Garcia has been re-signed by the White Sox. A very nice move. We don't yet, as I'm recording this, have the years and amount on there, but I will put that in the pinned comment at the top of this video. This video was supposed to be about two things. One, finally responding to all of your great comments over the course of the last two videos. We're going to do that. That'll be the bulk of this video. But two, to let you all know that I'll be doing a live stream, a countdown tomorrow night. That is Wednesday night at 10 o'clock local time, Chicago time, because we're going to be going live for the last hour before the current collective bargaining agreement expires. Workers versus management agreement is expiring. That doesn't sound exciting, and unfortunately it is exciting. It will lead to a freeze in baseball activity. Teams can, at that point, pretty much only do new business with new managers and coaches, can't deal with players at all on any level. They have to be divided. Workers and bosses, workers and management are separated. We will, throughout the winter, we'll find some other things to talk about. We'll do all sorts of fun stuff still, but there probably won't be any baseball news for a while starting tomorrow. In the meantime, there is going to be a mad dash. There already has been a mad dash of activity. It's crazy how quickly this offseason has started, and it's hard for me to understand fully. It seems like both players and owners are afraid of what the new CBA is, so they want to get as much business in now while we know what the rules are. So both sides, I think, are negotiating from a place of insecurity, because who knows what the future holds. We will get into some of the bigger baseball news during the live stream tomorrow night. We'll talk about the CBA, some of the proposals that have already been out there. We'll be talking about that kind of stuff all winter long, unfortunately. But first, let's go and take a look at your responses to a couple of questions I asked you all. Okay, so first off, the question was regarding Carlos Rodon, and these are some old questions, so they are out of date because we have a resolution on a few of them, especially with Garcia signing right now. But the first question was about Carlos Rodon, which was, should the White Sox issue a qualifying offer to Rodon? Again, that would be a 1-year, $8.4 million offer, and if he accepts it, he's back for a year at that rate. If he declines it and signs elsewhere, the White Sox would get some draft pick compensation, and there would still be the option that he could either reject it or accept it and still re-sign with the White Sox on a new deal. So the options were issue the qualifying offer, just let him walk for nothing, or negotiate a new deal, and the majority of you wanted a new deal, just over half of you, whereas the other, just less than half of you, wanted to issue a qualifying offer. I personally fell on the side of issuing the qualifying offer. I'm of that mindset. There's a baseball adage that there's no such thing as a bad 1-year deal, because even if it goes really poorly, well, we only have to deal with it for a year. He would probably give some value to the team, even if it's not $8.4 million worth of value. We know what Carlos can be when he's healthy, but we also know he's not healthy a lot. So, of course, the White Sox know more than we do about what's going on with him physically. You think maybe the White Sox can, say, here's a $20 million guarantee, but it's across 2 years. There's no chance, I think, that Carlos Rodon takes that, especially with his agent being Scott Boras. So chances are, the White Sox will effectively just let him walk, which is what 0% of us wanted. The next question was, what should we do with Craig Kimbrel? Buy him out for $1 million, sign him to try to work out a trade with some other team, or sign him to try to have him help the team, basically sign him and keep him. And I'm surprised by these results. I thought most people would want to just cut ties with him altogether. It has been known, it has been out there in the press that the White Sox are considering trading him. So I thought that would get some play. Literally nobody wanted to pick up the option to try to trade him. It would be a difficult trade. It's $16 million, and a guy is coming off a bad showing at the second half of the year. But the majority of you wanted to pick up that option and try to have him be part of the team next year. And I'm part of that opinion as well. We know this guy has a lot of skill and ability. And the first half of the year was so drastically different than the second half of the year. We can see that he still has something left in the tank. However, it just didn't really work out so much on the south side, but it was a pretty small sample size. I think Craig Kimbrel is definitely going to have some value for this team. And unlike a lot of people that thought, well, the White Sox signed Kendall Graveman, that means we're going to trade Kimbrel. I really see Graveman as coming in for Evan Marshall, who has lost to Tommy John surgery and even removed from the team. So I feel that Graveman fills that role more so than replacing Kimbrel. Time will tell, though. Anything's possible. At this point, though, the White Sox did pick up the option. If they were to trade him, I think they definitely want him to regain some value first. And like I said in my previous video, an injury could happen during spring training and we'll be extra happy that we have that depth, or an injury will happen to a different team and some other team is going to be desperate to get a closer type of arm, and the White Sox will be ready to deal somebody like Craig Kimbrel and maybe get a good return for him. All right, this is the last question that involved current members of the White Sox team, current at that time. And it was, do we keep them? Do we bring them back? Or do we cut ties with them and move in a different direction? And those options were Leury Garcia, who had become a free agent, Adam Engel, who is still under team control, but the question at that time was, is he worth taking up a roster spot? Whereas we might want to have that flexibility to have that roster spot open for other signings. Now, since that question was asked, the White Sox made a lot of room. Evan Marshall, gone. Jace Fry, gone. That was a surprise. Brian Goodwin is gone. And Jimmy Cordero is gone. So the White Sox cleared up a whole bunch of roster space, which made this kind of a non-issue. And then finally, Cesar Hernandez, who had a pretty inexpensive option for the White Sox to pick up if they wanted, and there was no buyout. So the White Sox could cut ties with him, and it wouldn't cost them anything. And of course, that is what happened. But let's first see what you guys wanted. In this graph, the light gray is a yes to keep, and the darker color is a no to let walk. Leury Garcia got a lot of attention from a lot of you. I was maybe a little bit on the fence. I do like his versatility so much. But I thought Tony La Russa overused him. I don't want Garcia to be an everyday player, and that's really what he became last year. I thought if the front management wanted for Garcia to be used less, they would just get rid of him flat out, kind of like what we saw in Moneyball. Adam Engel, everybody wanted him back on board, myself as well. I don't know how much opportunity he's going to have to play as the White Sox outfield is looking strong, and I think Engel is a guy that should play every day. When he's playing every day, his bat comes around and he's got some power that he really doesn't get the opportunity too much with the White Sox. Maybe he becomes a trade piece later in the year. I don't know. I like Adam Engel a lot. I want the best for him, and I just don't know if the White Sox can give enough playing time to him. And finally, Hernandez, not a lot of people wanted him back. I copped out on this one, I'll be honest with you. I voted yes for keeping Adam Engel, but I didn't make a vote either way when it came to Garcia or Hernandez. I thought if the White Sox couldn't get Garcia back, Hernandez is a really nice backup. But now we see that the White Sox did get Garcia back, and I do agree that we don't need Hernandez if we have Garcia. That said, let me say that I am really surprised Leury Garcia signed right now. He is a similar type of player as Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor is expected to go for a lot of money this year, and I thought Leury Garcia could be a good fallback option for any of the teams that were bidding on Taylor but couldn't make a deal happen, that Garcia would get some big money somewhere else. But he's back with the White Sox, and that makes the team much more versatile. And finally, the question I asked you just before Thanksgiving was looking at the current crop of free agents who had turned down a qualifying offer. And should the White Sox go after any of these players? You could name as many as you want or no one at all. And I was using the estimates for what MLB trade rumors suggested, what they predicted each player would get. And of course, the White Sox would have to give something up to because they had turned down a qualifying offer. So this was up to you to say, for this rate, would it be worth it if you were the GM of the White Sox? Should the White Sox make these particular moves? And here's how it broke down. Marcus Simeon was by far, I would say, the most attractive offensive piece. At that time, he was suggested to get 6 years, $138 million. And he ended up going for 7 years, $175 million. So quite a bit more. But I was on that as well. I definitely voted for Marcus Simeon here. The next highest one, I also voted for Robbie Ray. Those are the only two I voted for. Robbie Ray at the time was suggested to get 5 years, $130 million. He actually came under that. It was a 5-year, $115 million deal. With the Mariners, and I really do wish the White Sox made that move. I definitely think it would be worth it. Now, Robbie Ray, when you really look at his career, he has, I think, 2 really, really good seasons and then a lot of really mediocre ones. So it's really hard to know what you're getting out of Robbie Ray, especially on a 5-year deal. Is he an elite pitcher? Is he just a solid pitcher? Now, even just a solid pitcher has a lot of value. I still really do want the White Sox to pick up one starter. We'll take a look at the rotation tomorrow as well on the live stream. Anyway, moving back to your suggestions, Michael Conforto and Corey Seager. came in next. Now, Conforto still is not signed, but Seager did just sign a monster deal. So the prediction was 10 years, $305 million. It ended up being, I believe it was 10 years, $325 million. Wow, I don't think he's worth that. I mean, he's a very, very good player, but 10 years is such a long time, and that is a lot of money. That would really, the White Sox, they've got money to spend, but I don't know how much flexibility and freedom they would have had they made a deal like that. And then there was less interest from all of you, from Carlos Correa, Trevor Story, and Chris Taylor. I take that back. I voted for Trevor Story as well. I think he is to me, he would be a good backup for Marcus Simeon. And of course, the answer that got more votes than Correa, Story, and Taylor is no one. The White Sox don't need to pick up any of these particular free agents, which I think is a valid argument to be made. There's improvements that could possibly be made on the trade front. There are other targets out there that don't have a qualifying offer attached to them, where the White Sox wouldn't have to lose draft pick, lose international bonus pool money. So I thank everybody for responding to the questions. This was a lot of fun to do. And yeah, tomorrow, just like we did where we counted down the last, I think it was hour and a half or so before the trade deadline this summer, that was a lot of fun. And surely it kept us very busy. That's when some massive trades came through, including the Craig Kimbrell trade for the White Sox. There is going to be, it seems like there's going to be movement right up until the deadline, and probably some paperwork is going to get filed and announced shortly after the deadline passes, which will be 11 p.m. local time for us in Chicago. So I'll go on from about 10 p.m. to 11. If we keep talking, we'll keep talking a little bit later. Like I said, we're going to be talking about the next collective bargaining agreement, the next agreement between the Players Association and the union. So come armed with your ideas for how the business of baseball can be improved next year. We know one of the things that's going to change is the arbitration system. Younger players need to get compensated a bit more in advance. But how does that balance out? What does the union, what do the owners get in exchange? There's all sorts of different proposals that have come out there, including a widely expanded playoff bracket, moving to, I believe it was 14 teams. Basically half the teams in baseball would be able to make it into the playoffs each year. Everything is still fluid right now, and we haven't really heard too much news. I think the owners are very obsessed right now with trying to sign players, and players are trying to get their money as well. So they haven't really spent too much time negotiating, which means that definitely the lockout will happen, the freeze of baseball activity will happen. Hopefully it doesn't last too long, but if the negotiations coming back from the pandemic are any indication, it's not going to go well. It's going to drag on for months. But we will still have fun here on this channel, talking with each other, talking baseball. And yes, as I'm about to wrap this up, we see that the Cubs are about to sign Clint Frazier, and the Rays are looking to trade Joey Wendell and Kevin Kiermaier. So, boy, there's a lot going on. It's just, and they're going all night. These signings and breaking news moments have come out at like 4 in the morning, 2 in the morning. It is a crazy time right now. I don't think a lot of people are sleeping much. But I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night at around 10 p.m. right here on this channel, and I'll talk to you soon.